YouTube, what is going on? We are back with another video. This one is going to mirror the Big Ten college football brand rankings I did in the last video. If you haven't checked that out, I have the link in the description. Go up a level here for this video. We're going to go to the NFL, and we're going to start specifically by ranking all 16 teams in the NFC. If you already watched that college football video and you know what my criteria are, you can skip ahead to this timestamp where I will start the video and start ranking them. Anybody else still in here, I can explain the 4 criteria that is helping me determine the brands in the NFL. Starting off with attendance. So basically I have 4 criteria. Each one is weighted 25%. Attendance is home and away crowd. Social media, Instagram followers. That's my other criteria. So how popular are they on the internet? Win percentage since 2010. So pretty self-explanatory there. Overall, the one that is going to be subjective is my ranking their watchability. Thank you, Jay, for wasting 53 seconds of our time. We're going to now start with the video and the rankings. Number 16, worst brand in the NFC, was the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals attendance home and away averaged 66,965. That was second to last in the NFC. Their social media following was 1.2 million. That was dead last in the NFC. Their win percentage since 2010 was 11th in the NFC, so that was a little bit better. They actually are a 45.5%, so it's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, it wasn't last in the NFC, so good for them. And watchability, I put them as at 13th, so I guess if there was a national TV game and the Arizona Cardinals were playing, and I had to rank it with every single NFC team that I could watch, I would probably put them around 13th. Just Kyler Murray's fun to watch, but I still think this is a team that's kind of rebuilding, trying to get themselves back to what they were in prior years. Number 15 is a little bit of a surprise, and this is Chicago Bears. Considering it's one of the larger markets in the country, it doesn't stack up as well in terms of my criteria and these 4 categories, as their attendance comes in at dead last around 63,000. They have 1.7 million followers on IG, and that is going to put them in 11th place, which isn't that bad, but win percentage since 2010 puts them at 13th. It's only 43%, which is putrid. So in terms of watchability, I put them as 14th if they were on the national stage. They're rebuilding, but at this point, I can see they've kind of gotten to the end of the rebuild. It's really going to depend on what Caleb Williams' ceiling is, because they do have talent now. So it'll just be, can they get a quarterback that can throw for 4,000 yards? Coming in at number 14 is the Carolina Panthers. The only takeaway I really have from their data is they're just very boring. Their attendance home and away was 9th in the NFC. Their Instagram followers was 8th. Their win percentage since 2010, this is where they were really bad, was 14th. They are a staggering, and I mean staggering, 42% since that year. And I put them as dead last in watchability because if they are on national TV, until they give Bryce Young an offensive line or anything around him, I think it's one of the most unwatchable teams I've ever seen. So that's going to really just determine on how they rebuild and do they actually help their young quarterback. Coming in at number 13 is the Washington Commanders. I look at them as one of the biggest buys in the NFC in terms of brand for the future. What hurts them is their attendance. They're 14th in attendance. They're 15th in social media following. And they're also 15th in win percentage since 2010. Listen to this, 41.4% win percentage. So that's obviously not good at all. However, they did just make the NFC Championship game, and I put their watchability as 3rd. I really do think with Jaden Daniels for the future, Washington probably wins a Super Bowl at some point, or at least gets there. Coming in at number 12 is another buy, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of Baker Mayfield. He's become much-watched TV, and he's turned the page on a lot of fans, thinking he used to be trash. And he threw for 40 touchdowns last year and had an incredible year. They're just a couple of pieces away, I think, from contending in the NFC. But looking at their numbers, they came in at 11th place in attendance. They came in 13th place in social media following. They came in 12th place in win percentage since 2010. And watchability is what helped them, just like Washington. I put them as the 6th best team. Number 11 on this list is the New York Giants, and there's absolutely no way a New York team should be that low. But hey, they're so bad, they've managed to do that. Some of the more impressive things that the Giants have to offer is their attendance is around 74,920, which puts them 2nd place in the NFC. Their social media following is pretty solid, 2.8 million. That puts them 6th in the NFC. But here's the one that really hurts them. The win percentage since 2010 is actually dead last at 40.4%. That is absolutely brutal. And I put their watchability 15th. And the reason I did that is because they are an unwatchable team until they figure out how to get a quarterback that can actually do something. Coming in at number 10 is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons are pretty average on a lot of their stats. Attendance is around 69,700, which puts them 7th. Their social media is 1.4 million. That puts them not really as good, around 14th place. Their win percentage since 2010, though, is pretty solid. They're 50%, which is 8th place. And watchability, I put them in 10th in the NFC. They're another one that I could see as a potential buy, considering you just switch quarterbacks to Penix, and I wonder if that kind of elevates them and makes their passing attack fun again, kind of like it was with Matt Ryan. The next team is pretty close to the Atlanta Falcons, and that is the Minnesota Vikings, because when I did the point total, I think they were tied. So the Minnesota Vikings are an interesting one. Their home and away attendance kind of surprised me here. They're around 67,850. That puts them 12th place in the NFC. Their social media is also in 12th place with 1.6 million. Their win percentage since 2010, though, is pretty impressive. They're at about 53.7%. That actually puts them 6th place. And watchability, I put them at 9th. I think Minnesota's another one that's kind of dependent on their young quarterback. J.J. McCarthy missed all of last year with an injury. I think he's going to be pretty solid. 8th place is the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams obviously won a Super Bowl around the COVID era. They're just pretty solid on a lot of their numbers. I mean, their attendance is 68,872, which is funny because a lot of it's just the away crowd because not everyone's really transitioned to them being in LA yet. Their attendance puts them at 8th place. Social media following is 10th. Their win percentage in 2010 is 9th. And their watchability, I put them at 7th. So very average brand. I think being in LA helps. You get a little bit more media coverage, but I think in terms of getting their brand up a little bit, they got a couple years probably left with Stafford, and then after that, they're going to have to rebuild most likely. Just like the Washington Commanders, number 7 is another huge buy in my opinion. That is my Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, what hurts them is attendance. 67,824 is the average. That only puts them at 13th in the NFC. Their social media following is right about in the middle at 9th. Their win percentage since 2010 is getting a little bit better. It is around 10th in the NFC because obviously the Lions used to be one of the worst teams. Stafford years at least gave them some winning seasons. They're 48% win percentage since 2010. And their watchability, I actually put them number 1. I think they have transitioned themselves into the team like Dallas that draws the most viewers, and the numbers back that up. I think last year they were one of the most watched teams in the NFL. And yeah, I just see that as a buy going forward, especially with Dan Campbell. He's a very exciting coach, and Lions have a lot of exciting players. In 6th place is the Seattle Seahawks, and they have numbers all over the place from the data I gathered. Their attendance put them in 10th place in the NFC at about 68,000. Their social media following, however, is 3.4 million. That put them 4th in the NFC. Their win percentage since 2010 is actually in 2nd place. They have 60.5%. So Seattle has seen a lot of success since 2010. That's obvious. I remember watching them in that decade. They were always in contention, always making the playoffs. And their watchability, I put them in 11th place now. I think with Geno departing, and there's a lot of moving pieces into Seattle now, losing your coach, I think it's just going to be a lot different of a dynamic in the 12th man. In 5th place is the New Orleans Saints. And what's funny about them is watchability is actually hurting them in this case, where some of the other ones, watchability was helping them be from like the bottom team to in the middle. In attendance, the Saints show up, man. They've always done that. 72,185, even with their really big stadium. They got 2.1 million followers on social media. So respectively, their attendance is 3rd and their social media is 7th. Their win percentage since 2010 is very solid with the Drew Brees era, 58.2%. That puts them in 3rd place in the NFC. And their watchability is where I hurt them, 12th place. Because right now, the Saints just don't have an answer at the quarterback position. Derek Carr just retired. Before that, it was a joke. They just need to find their guy. 4th place in the NFC is the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers numbers are all very solid. Their attendance is 70,385. That puts them 6th place in the NFC. Their social media is 3.8 million. This is one of the higher social media numbers we've seen so far. That is 3rd in the NFC. The win percentage since 2010 is pretty solid, 52.3%. That puts them in 7th place. And watchability, I put them in 5th place. just, you know, very solid team. They got C-Mac, Purdy. He just got paid, and he's led the 49ers to the Super Bowl. I think they have a lot of pieces that are fun to watch. I think their issue, I think, was injuries last year, and I guess they got to see what they can do this year. Coming in third place is going to surprise some people, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Most people probably thought they'd be number one. Now, they were number one in half of the categories. In attendance, it's not a surprise that Dallas was first, around 82,000. Their social media was also number one, being 4.9 million on Instagram, 55.3% win percentage since 2010. That kind of hurt them a little bit. That puts them in fifth place in the NFC. And what really kept them from the top spot was watchability. I have Dallas as eighth. And the reason I have Dallas in eighth is they are America's team, but the problem is they just never win the big games. So it's hard for me to really want to watch them if they're never in the games that I normally see the Chiefs playing or I see the Eagles playing. I think that's really what is kind of keeping their brand from being number one right now. Because, again, winning has to matter at a certain point. Like, I understand the brand of Dallas and the Star might be the biggest in the NFL, but in terms of how my criteria is, they can't be number one because they don't have enough recent success. Second place is the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Green Bay Packers, same as Dallas, you know, pretty good brand in terms of if I see their logo, I know who they are. Very solid attendance, 71,426. That puts them in fifth place in attendance, fifth place in social media at around 2.8 million. 64.3% win percentage. That is first since 2010. That helps having Aaron Rodgers there. Yeah, Green Bay is a very solid brand. They do a lot more winning than Dallas. I think that's kind of what helped propel them to first. I have their watchability as fourth. With Jordan Love, I think he's going to be a really solid quarterback for years to come. So that means our number one spot is the Eagles. I know Dallas fans aren't happy about that. And listen, I am not an Eagles fan. I don't even like the Eagles at all. I'm a Lions fan. But I can't deny their recent success. They have been able to really grow their brand in many ways. What's funny about this is they were number one in my point system, and they did not lead in any categories, but their numbers were very consistent across the board. Their attendance is fourth in the NFC. Their social media was second at 4.6 million. 57.2% win percentage of 2010. That's really good. So, like, Eagle fans, can be some of the more annoying ones because they boo their team constantly, but they do win a lot. So that's why it's kind of a surprise. Fourth in that category, by the way. And then watchability, I put them second behind the Lions. I think it's a toss-up between those two, to be completely honest with you. That'll do it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching this to the end. If you have, like and subscribe if you haven't. And maybe comment below what was the biggest surprise of this video in the rankings. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.